Hello, in this video is addressed to my twin flame Shia. Hi Shia. And for everyone else watching, I thank you for watching. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about the crime against me and my twin flame. However, I'm probably mostly going to be talking about food, Shia, and an article I just read. And this article is about the book of Revelation. You're going to find a little bit out about how little I know about the Bible and how it's been kept from me my entire life. I did have a cup of coffee already. I'd been up since 4 a.m. getting tortured. So I'm going to drink some seltzer because if I drink coffee right now, my stomach's kind of upset. I don't believe it's from what I ate yesterday. They're really just hurting my stomach, and so today, this is I'm actually having a good day, even though it started off awful. I ended up finding an article. I feel I definitely was motivated by spirit guides who was working through me to reopen that downloaded article. I kept Google searching something about end times and instruments. Oh, it was instruments that remove and KIL ghosts and demons, like exorcists. And it brought to this scholarly paper by Ranko Stefanovic. He's from Yugoslavia. I'm going to read all the notes to you on the sides and the things I highlighted. The scholarly paper, End Times, Demonic Activities in the Book of Revelation. I've never read the Book of Revelation. I had a very religious grandmother, my mother's mother, and I basically could not hear anything when I went to the Bible for holidays or some random few Sundays. My mother was not religious like that. I still don't understand how you can be in a Christian cult and worship Jesus but not be on Jesus' side. I don't understand that. Anyways, maybe she really likes Jesus. She pretty much, but it was always like they knew who Jesus was. They knew about everything, that family, and I did not. I was not allowed. So I'm still demonically possessed, child. They're going to play with my voice to attack you. And however, I'm going to try to do the best I can to read the highlighted notes and you're going to learn how little I know about the Bible, which will make you understand how in the dark I've been my entire life, how possessed I've been my entire life. And this is like the first article that I've read that I didn't have too much trouble understanding. However, it did get confusing in some parts, probably because of the stroke and probably because of the AI. They do a lot of witchcraft in AI when I read things to make things confusing, twist things around, make me not understand it. Also, the article could be manipulated by, well, I wouldn't say demons, but sometimes articles are hard to understand, and it's not because of the authors, because of the interference and the manipulation. So I'm going to talk about this. This minister, Ranko Stefanovic, he is a professor in Michigan in North America, originally from Yugoslavia. He's also a minister. He's a professor of the New Testament. I never knew the Bible had 66 to 81 books included. I never knew the Bible was 66 to 81 books. I did not know about that. Also, this author, Ranko Stefanovic, this writer, scholarly writer, is an author, and he wrote a book called Revelation of Jesus Christ. It's 661 pages. There's really, after this kind of breakthrough about me reading this, I much prefer reading from a minister that talks about the Bible and actually read the Testament in Bible myself, and then it being confused and have no clue what the meanings is, because this basically explains what the symbols and things are about the Bible. So I'm going to show you the photograph I took of the book. There's a free PDF of the book on the internet. Revelation of Jesus Christ, Ranko Stefanovic, and there's no reason why I can't. This is the WordPress PDF file of how to get the free book. All I did was Google search his name and then PDF next to it, and this article came up. So there's no way I can go back to food research knowing that this information could also be part of my spiritual ascension. It might defuse and deactivate a lot of spells in witchcraft, because I am so in the dark about what's going on. I mean, I knew a few things intuitively, but I'm extremely ignorant to the Bible and what's going on, and that I'm not to blame for it. It's the full body, full mind possession that I had since I was a child. So it doesn't really make sense. It was always... There was a whole little game that was going on with... I wasn't allowed, or it was too boring and I felt suicidal anytime I opened up the Bible, because it was too hard to read and it didn't make any sense, and there was all kinds of demons that would make me have these thoughts like, wow, this is mean. All these things are so mean that they're saying blah, 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 blah. So this Revelation of Jesus Christ, I am going to start reading a little bit of it every day. And I wrote some new sticky notes. Oh, I also was told by the pendulum that you want me to start setting my alarm and doing the things in my routine so that I can start getting more disciplined. And I agree, I have to do that, Shia. I agree, I have to set the alarm. I shouldn't have an excuse. I really have to start doing the routines. I stopped taking my vitamins for like 2 weeks now. So I'm going to take a little break from the food research because I really have to learn more about this. This was actually really interesting that I learned about this. So the meaning of the 7 trumpets, I can't completely understand everything and explain everything the way that I'd like to. However, basically part of the Bible, there's a whole prophecy with the 7 trumpets that has to do in the Revelation. And in this article, scholarly paper, the author explains what the symbol and the meaning of the prophecies are. I'm not going to explain extremely everything, but the angels, the ones that are blowing the 7 trumpets are different angels. There's 7 different angels. And Shai, you probably already know this. And if you may or may not already know this, but you might want to remember. Jesus cast fire upon the earth. So Jesus is going to cast fire upon the earth. I have never read the Bible or the book of Revelation. I think I went to Sunday school maybe 5 or 10 times when I was a little child between, 5 and 10. And it was so boring. They did programs that made me feel like I wanted to KIL myself. And that's going to be explained later on in the notes, what that means. So this author also wrote a book about the apocalypse. And honestly, I really think a lot of these demons, which is not 7 billion, there's not 7 billion demons that are in this, that do criminal activity. But I think a lot of these, I'm baking a potato, by the way, Shai, that's why you hear the ticking. I'm sorry that I forgot to tell you. I also had some toasted French baguette butter with ghee butter and sea salt. It tasted so good. I haven't had fresh bread in over a month and a half now since the sink turned off. And I really like the ghee butter. You don't have to refrigerate it, and it really tastes like butter. And there's something holy about ghee butter. I think there's something spiritual about it because it has to do with the Indian Ayurvedic. So the apocalypse, which is another word for end times, I think, and I've been told, and I kind of hope this is true, that a lot of these demons hosting on humans, when they have their weapons deactivated, they're going to look like zombies. They're going to turn into like beast-like zombies. I hope that happens. So end time demonic activities in the book of Revelation. You're probably like shocked that I'm doing this. I'm pretty much positive I was spiritually guided to do this, which I'm appreciative. I'm very, very happy about. So the trumpets just describe sequential events in history that will take place before the second coming of Christ. So these 7 trumpets, it's like a part of the prophecy. And the 7 trumpets point to God's interventions in history as they herald his judgments upon a world hostile to God and his people. And I couldn't even follow that sentence right there. They block my mind all the time. So 7 trumpets point. Sometimes I have to repeat what I said. So there's 7 trumpets, 7 prophecies, and they're like different interventions within each time period where it increasingly becomes closer and closer to the end times. So I just learned, I never knew Jesus died at 33. And I got more and more near-death experiences at the start of 33. I don't really think there's a relation completely, but probably is a little. Jesus was killed in Jerusalem. I didn't know that. I'm not like saying like I knew this and forgot. No, I never knew this, Shai. I was never taught this. And I didn't really say it in that tone. So I didn't know Jesus of Nazareth means, I didn't know of Nazareth was a place, a location, but Nazareth is a city in Israel. And you can think that this looks stupid and I'm ignorant, because I am. I am very, very ignorant to what's going on, and I am very, very ignorant to the Bible. I have always considered myself a Christian my entire life, because obviously, like, Jesus is obviously good. It's pretty clear that Jesus is good. When you go to churches, they do feel holy, most of them. However, I was not able to read the Bible. I was not allowed to pray. Nothing. So I didn't know that the Romans killed Jesus. They arrested him. I didn't know any of this that I'm about to tell you. The Romans killed Jesus. They arrested him because they were threatened by his teachings. And they considered him, they accused him of blasphemy because he was telling people he was the king of the Jews and like the Son of God. When he went to trial, there wasn't one witness that claimed that he was doing all these things, so it was illegal to kill him. But they accused him of treason, meaning he was a troublemaker attempting to start wars. So I didn't know any of that information, and it makes a lot of sense. So this whole planet Earth has been a dreadful situation in the world of secularism. And secularism basically is atheism, just like no faith, no religion. So the sixth trumpet was described as the escalation of demonic activities in the world leading up to the Battle of Armageddon, which is end times. And then the seventh trumpet is this ushers in the second coming of Christ, God's everlasting kingdom. So it is very important to not stay away from the gospel and gospel music, and I have pretty much my entire life. And all of that Ascended Master I Am, they do talk about the Christ consciousness. They do believe Jesus is extremely important, Ascended Master, and they don't, it's not like New Agey, bad, occult. It's very good, the I Am presence. And they include Jesus and the teachings of Jesus in the I Am activity. So the fifth trumpet time period was, so it builds on the previous trumpet. So it has rediscovered the gospel. So it rediscovered the fourth trumpet. Okay, look, I just want to read you what I highlighted. It rediscovered the gospel and restored the Bible as the rule of faith and teaching. I don't know how that happened. I don't know when that really happened. However, apparently they tried to restore the gospel in the Bible on the planet Earth. Then the planet Earth basically is a prison. And if Satan was kicked out of heaven, Satan was pretty much murdered and turned into a ghost on this planet and was trapped here. So this turned into Satan's kingdom because he was kicked out. No, he was murdered. He was murdered and killed. So he pretty much died, and they came here as a ghost because there's no such thing as a real embodiment of Satan. That's what I think for now. I don't know if it's complete. No, obviously I don't know everything. I'm assuming this, and this is what I think because based on all of the research I've done through other ways besides reading the Bible. But the denial of supernaturalism, which is faith and religion and spirituality, created the atheism, which eroded Christian faith and robbed millions of hope of salvation. So this kind of brings me to this Battle of Armageddon is not including 7 billion. Well, it is including 7 billion people, but the criminals, the ones that don't exist, the ones that we punish for thousands of years, they are 222 million, it says, versus me and you shy as souls are the 144,000 on planet Earth. The 144,000 have the seal of God, so we have some form of protection, not completely. There can be complications, and I was told that. I was told that there could be complications, and I could die. However, that was told to me many times when I was doing Lumerian technology on Mount Shasta. So the spiritual darkness in the Western world and its dreadful consequences upon humanity was happening more and more after the time periods go on. They talked a lot about the demonic locust, which is a symbol of the locust. L-O-C-U-S-T-S is like a grasshopper, which is a symbol, I guess, of judgment. I thought of the cricket on Mount Shasta. I don't think that was a bad cricket, though. There's different I'm not really connecting the cricket to this article on the demonic locust army. This I'm going to talk about in a second. Basically, there's some kind of demonic locust, horse-like, grasshopper-like evil beasts that are trying to, possibly in the spiritual realm, to try to take down the souls and the godly people. And it says in this that Satan is the leader of the demonic army. And the demons are confined here on earth. And in case I didn't show on this, the demons are confined here on earth. So this is some kind of prison. This is like a prison planet. They are not, because, and remember, Shai, how I said that the evil people don't have access to the higher realms? So they've been able to, with the technology that they have, turn this into a lower realm planet. Not like the entire planet is lower realm, but the demons are confined here on earth temporarily until they are punished and thrown into the lake of fire. They're not necessarily creatures and animals. They're called beasts, because it's kind of a disrespect to creatures and animals to call these types of entities animals. Satan receives his final judgment in the lake of fire, and there's no such thing as Satan being an angel. And many people have said that in different ways. A lot of the Bibles have been misinterpreted, and it's like symbols and not completely accurate. Satan is not a fallen angel. Satan was never an angel to begin with, because Satan is a beast. Beasts are not beings. So these demons on this planet have had partial freedom to perform demonic activities. However, not complete freedom, because pretty much we would be dead shy if they had full freedom. So they say Satan's a fallen angel. No, he got kicked out and killed and pushed out of the higher realms, because he wasn't allowed to be there probably from the beginning. So they call this the abyss. They call this planet, what's going on, like a purgatory, the abyss, place of temporary confinement of Satan and his fallen angels. This has been their abode since their expulsion from heaven, and will continue until they receive their punishment. This is a very dark, this planet Earth, there's a lot of beauty on this planet. There's a lot of, however, most of it is very dark and chaotic, and it's a prison. And they're still under God's control, but not, obviously not completely. The place from which the beast arises. Satan receives his final punishment in the lake of fire. Satan and the fallen angels. Satan and the fallen angels, their freedom and activities are restricted. Satan and the fallen angels, their freedom, and they're trying to interrupt me with V2K right now. Satan and the fallen angels, their freedom and activities are restricted. In the fifth trumpet, the restriction is removed during Armageddon, where they can just go crazy with the demonic activity. So if you exist to just create harm and do evil, demonic crime, you're not supposed to exist begin with. And Jesus talks about the demons, the scorpions and serpents being the symbol of demons and evil. And I am a scorpion. No, I have a Scorpio sign. However, I hate scorpions. I'm afraid of scorpions. So, behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you. Well, why are we getting hurt? Well, I don't really know what that completely means, because we are getting hurt. But these demonic forces, which were previously confined and restrained, they are now unleashed to perform their harmful activities in the world as it nears its end. So the demonic locusts are like these army of horse-like grasshoppers. See, this is where my brain is not completely able to follow the story completely, because it jumps to the way it's written. It's not hard. It's a little bit hard to read. But in the gospel, Christ and the gospel have been extinguished from the lives of most people in the world, and it was extinguished in my life up until this past year. Past half a year. Not even. The demonic forces are not allowed to harm the grass of the earth, nor anything green, nor any tree, but only those who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. Well, that's a lie, because they're destructing and trying to kill all of the nature and plant life on this planet. So that's not really, I don't really know what that means completely either. But God's people are thus protected from the demonic harmful activities by the seal of God. So we do have the seal of God, Shia. And the word light, like how I call us light workers, the light in the Bible stands for the gospel. Darkness symbolizes the absence of the gospel. So there's a reason why. I do read the Quran a little bit, and the Quran has been in the Quran, the gospel is actually called the Injil. In the Quran, they say the gospel is called the Injil. I wrote something about that. I'll get to it. So we are somewhat protected because we have the seal of God. I think we would have been dead a long time ago if we didn't, Shia. But I understand that the trumpet locusts are there's some kind of locust plague that's happening, and the demons are trying to take over the earth and universe. Well, there's so many universes. This is a small world. I think this is not a multi-universe fight. This is probably, even though it's very painful, and everything seems so large, this is like the Armageddon of the universe. I actually don't believe that this is. I don't think that this is it should be like that. I don't think it should be looked at like that. They're taking over the Earth. This is one planet, and we see all the little Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, the very few planets that we see from whatever technology we have. There's probably hundreds of thousands, millions of planets out there in universes that we don't know about. I really don't think that. I think it would be. I'm not. This is my brain talking, but it's like AI trying to. So the demonic locusts are not permitted to kill people, only torment them for 5 months. Ever since I was about 15 years old, when I got little part-time jobs, employed at actual companies, employed by just people I met. There were always little satanic contracts that were temporary, and they tormented me, and it was mostly making me feel suicidal. So this torment of the demonic locust is spiritual and mental, and driving people into suicidal anguish. Men will seek death and will not find it. So when I was working all of those jobs, doing the most boring tasks for hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours at a time, I think that they were trying to torment me, most of the jobs, Shai, that I've had, like 30 or 40, part-time, only lasted about 5 months. And I noticed it. I think 8 months is the longest time I've ever had a job. So it's very interesting that they talk about this in the Old Testament, that these demonic locusts were only able to torment someone for 5 months. So they all just kept taking turns, all of these different Satanists, or Satan interfering with the people I was working with. I'm sure they're not all bad, whoever I was working with. That Satan was definitely interfering, and it was some kind of temporary satanic contract where I was being tormented. That's not necessarily through the job itself, however, Satan was taking control of the situation. So it's very interesting that I've had dozens of jobs, mostly all part-time, that lasted around 5 months. It was a lot of boredom, specifically because of the tasks. And it was also a lot of stress, because there was a lot of stress involved too, a lot of anxiety. And so I think this has to do with, I think it really has to do about them getting only 5 months chance to do whatever. So Satan's followers are the destroyers of the earth. This is all the information I've learned from this article. And Satan is like the ruler of these demons, the destroyers of the earth. And the developments of the demonic activities with each trumpet, each time period, the situation further escalates. Then finally they release the demonic army, which is the locusts. And it's the golden altar of incense in the heavenly temple ordered the angel with the 6th trumpet to release the 4 angels bound by the great river of Euphrates. So the angels have been restraining the demons on this planet from some of the crime, holding firmly the 4 winds of the earth. I don't really know too much about that yet. But they ordered not to harm the earth until the servants of God have been sealed. So we're the servants of God, Shia. And the angel said that the angels are released to kill a third of mankind, namely a part of Satan's kingdom. So these 200 million, not 222 million, 200 million of the people on this earth are evil. I think 7 billion mostly are evil. However, a lot of the people on this planet are being possessed and deceived by Satan and can't do anything about it. But the God-sealed people, the God-sealed souls, are 144,000. I've heard of that number before. I haven't heard of the 200 million. But I do, that actually makes sense. The criminals, the one that torture and murder and do the worst possible crimes that have no future existence, those are probably the 200 million on Earth. Think of all the people trapped in basements getting raped and mutilated and tortured. Those types of criminals are part of the 200 million. So the final conflict is referred to as the Battle of Armageddon. And the angels are restraining the destructive forces. I think they're continuing to. And the OT stands for Old Testament. The kingdom of Judah is in Jerusalem. I didn't know that. Because I kept seeing the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Kept hearing that over and over, Lion of the tribe of Judah. So the kingdom of Judah is in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is where something about Jesus. So angels released to kill 1/3 of mankind. The 1/3 of mankind is probably the 200 million criminals. So these demonic agencies, they're called demonic agencies, have been under God restraints. But think about all the crime and rape and murder that's happened in history. Maybe there'd be a lot more if God didn't have them restrained. So the river of Euphrates is important. It's a symbolic boundary between God's people and their enemies. I have to look more into that. I don't really get it completely. But the river of Euphrates, I looked it up. It's somewhere, I forget what country. So the demonic locusts were allowed to only afflict and torment people, not kill them. Now they are allowed to kill a third of mankind. So that's where I get kind of confused, because the demonic locusts, it kept saying, is sent from the Lord. However, the demonic locusts are evil, and I thought that they were Satan's army. So I'm getting kind of confused. Now so demonic locusts, who's the 1/3 of mankind that are being killed? Is it the demons, or is it good, or the evil people? That's why I can't, because of my stroke and because of the brain injury I got a long time ago in childhood, I can't completely follow everything. Plus, this is a scholarly article, and scholarly articles can be confusing. So the serpent tails are, the tail of Satan is a definite form of weaponry, as well as their mouths, apparently. But the serpent tails is definitely a symbol of their weapon, and if you see like evil with a tail, that means they're evil. But there's a lot of atheism on this planet, and obviously atheism is they don't believe in God, but you can't believe in God if you're not connected to God and you're not of God. So I've been listening to the show for the Cure and Ruckus. There's a really good Cure and Ruckus, Shia, that's been helping my back. And I know that there's something going on with your back, because I could tell in the video. So this one is an unusual Ruckus on the Mission to Succeed page. Also, the most recent Power of Cure and Ruckus is, it really is obvious the demons hate that Cure and Ruckus. But this one, the voice sounds really like the demons hate the voice. This Rocky, the voice is very hard to listen to because the demons hate his voice. It can be really loud. But if you listen to this one for the back, my back, these demons reacted very, very weird when I was playing these, and I actually am going to play this one hopefully every day, probably definitely every week, no matter what, because something really bad is going on with my back. And if you see this curve, see this big dip, I have back fat, but see this big dip here? I was wondering why it's because my spine has lordosis, is going in. It's not just going this way. My spine is not just going this way. It's actually, so looking from here, the spine is twisting, but then when on the side of my spine, it's going like this. That's lordosis. And I wasn't even, I'm not going to talk about that right now. But that wasn't even explained to me at all by the, I'm not going to go into that right now. When the Babylonians were worshiping idols, self-made gods that are artificial in Iraq. I didn't know that about Iraq being Babylon. I didn't know. Shia, you can call me ignorant because I am ignorant. I'm extremely ignorant. I wasn't allowed to learn about history. My mind just kept going on loop and like just shutting down over and over and over. Anytime I would try to read, even in school, I would have barely enough memory to get through a test, and then it would be all gone. So there's something about history where I had to be stayed away from, because history would, I think this is part of the spiritual activation. If you don't know these things, it's kind of like a white spell. It can diffuse the witchcraft. If you don't know things, it can't really diffuse the witchcraft as much. So when I read this sentence, when Israel I'm not going to be able to talk about the food. When Israel turned justice into poison and the fruit of righteousness into wormwood. Wormwood is an herb. When I was getting into all of those parasitic removal herbs, wormwood, Hulda Clark's remedy has wormwood. Wormwood is a parasite, anti-parasite herb. And all of these entities are parasitic. So wormwood is also should be spiritually combat the demons, but it has such a strong taste. I could barely drink it without just not liking it. But wormwood kills parasites, in not just physical worms, but demon parasites in the body. In the Quran, because I'm always trying to associate what's the Quran have to do with the Bible, and like and Jesus and everything. But the Quran describes the book of Revelations as the Injil, Injil, and the book of Revelations made by God to Jesus. That's what the Quran says. It was the book of Revelations that was made by God to Jesus. I've never rejected the gospel. I haven't been able to participate. I've been possessed, and it's been kept away from me, and it was really like hidden in plain sight with my grandmother side of the family. Not my entire grandmother's side of the family were interested in church, but my grandmother specifically. And so it was definitely hidden in plain sight because of my grandmother. She was so into it. It was kind of like, well, it's her thing, not yours kind of thing. But I had a dream about her and my parents last night, and she was kind of like going out a window, and it was like she was a ghost, even though she's still alive. So when Jesus comes back to Earthshire, Jesus will separate the sheep from the goats. The goats are the unbelievers of God, the lambs, and the sheep are the sheep, which are kind of like the lamb of God. The sheep are the believers of God. The goats are the unbelievers of God. Another thing that's interesting, comes out of the mouth of the dragon three spirits that are frog-like. And in Pharaoh's magicians, they were able to duplicate these like frog-like demon spirits. And when I was on Mount Shasta specifically, doing all of that Lemurian technology work, I think it started back in 2017, before I took that kitchen manager position. I was doing the Lemurian technology, and I kept seeing visions of these demons throwing up frogs out of their mouth. They just kept throwing up frogs, and I'm like, there's no way that those criminals and demons are going to show me a vision of that. There's got to be something about that. And it says here, frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. When I was doing Lemurian work, I don't see the frogs as much, only once in a while. I think there's someone's trying to block it. But the Lemurians' work, there was a vision, a chronic repeated vision of these demons and criminals throwing up frogs. And I guess frogs can be symbols of unclean spirits. I've never really liked frogs. I had a very serious fear of frogs in childhood, up until most of my life, even into my late 20s. So I don't really like frogs. Some people are not completely evil. They are being deceived. That's a different statement from what I'm talking about. But these three frog-like demonic spirits represent Satan's last counterfeit of God. So the great drama of deception is that Satan will try to impersonate Christ. I don't know if that's happened, but this is a strong overmastering delusion. And to the followers of Christ, Satan and his demonic agents are just but defeated enemies. So Satan was cast out, he was murdered into a ghost on earth. And he basically has been probably trapped on this planet and turned into his kingdom. And he's not like an actual real person. He, she, it. But the gospel can fill the emptiness in people's lives, and I have a lot of programs with the Bible, not being able to understand it and reading it. So that's why I'm very, very happy that I was able to run into this article, because I think I'm going to be able to start reading the most important part of the Bible, which is the book of Revelation. Because, where would you start? Where could I possibly start with the Bible? I have no clue, but obviously this is extremely interesting and things I really want to know about is the apocalypse. So I'm going to read some of the notes, and I'm not going to talk about everything. However, I was extremely tortured this morning from 4 a.m. up until 8 a.m., and I was forced, and it was extremely humiliating, and when you're tortured for that many hours, it's involuntarily, it's extreme humiliation, Shia, and they're going to get caught. The people that are doing this, they're going to get they're going to get torture penalized. It's going to be returned back to the sender, whoever's doing this to us. So these criminals, so I did get confused with that article, but I got a lot out of it. But this is the work of patheticness. These criminals, this is the work of patheticness. And once the AI wears off, it's going to be really revealed that they're not really fooling a lot of people. They're fooling the souls, though, who are so mind controlled with MK Ultra. So I can't talk about any of this stuff. My back has been feeling a lot lighter just from playing that back rukia probably 10 times at this point. But there's a lot of I'm in charge kind of attitude. All this AI confidence that's being really obvious that it's fake. More and more. And yeah, you guys can go ahead and feel very confident about your future torture penalty that is going to happen to them no matter what. You can feel very confident about that. But it's kind of a thing, and anytime I try to defend myself with the Lumerian technology, it's like, well, if you humiliate us, there's no way you're not going to die. We don't get humiliated by some little dumb blonde girl. We don't get humiliated by young girls. You're going to be killed because you're humiliating me and us. It's just a constant threat, and this constant threat by mostly all of these elders. This is not like a disrespect thing. I am kind of afraid, Shia. I don't fight as much as I should, partially because I am afraid I'm going to die. That's part of it. So they're using deception to try to trick and fool me into trying to, an attempt to win the Battle of Armageddon. but there's a lot of artificial intelligence, fake confidence. And when people hide behind walls or computer screens, or if they're like all kinds of different ways to hide behind, they're using that mystery and that way to try to trick and deceive me into thinking that they're really scary and powerful when they're not. They're pathetic losers with absolutely no lives. But there's just so much lies and trickery in regards to all this power that they're thieving from us, Shia, and taking ownership over and saying it's our power. They take ownership over the demons and entities that they're hosting. It's a secret weapon. It's a secret weapon to hide behind things, and then pretend you're something you're not. It's a secret weapon. It's been used against me my entire life. But they're lies. And this is just some stupid stuff. But the joke is on me. The joke has been on me. But when the AI wears off, it just looks pathetic. The joke's on me, but I'm not actually the joke. The criminals are the actual jokes. They're a walking, living joke. I'm being joked on. They're the actual living, walking joke. So my dream last night was very positive. It kind of involved, remember I told you about that murder for hire by that cookbook author's son who hired someone to kill his nephew? Well, it kind of like involved that a little bit. I think seeing that was a little bit supportive because it really is an example of things. But it was my parents in this room. I can't explain you the full dream. However, Doris was there kind of as a witness, more of as a ghost. I'm wondering, because she's kind of getting dementia, she probably can't be a witness in regards to the investigation. However, there was an arrest that was made in my dream, and I kept asking, why are you arresting her or him? Why are you arresting her or him? And the cop kind of was just sarcastic and finally, they get arrested. Money. And obviously, if I do die, people will get wealthy. Technically, it could be some kind of murder for hire that had occurred. I mean, I think there's been hundreds of people that have had murder for hire but that have been partially murder for hired, not like completely. So I didn't completely explain myself about that. So I'm going to talk about you now, Shia. A lot of negative things that I wrote down that I don't want to repeat. But I have to write this down now. And it's getting more like I'm writing down the things that I wasn't writing. Well, no, that's not true. And honestly, there was something on that Saint Germain Symphony page called technology. So a lot of people don't understand the technology of prayer. I've never looked at prayer as a technology. However, it really is. It's a weapon of warfare. I have to probably do it more than an hour recite the deliverance prayers, the Quran, or the I am, or whatever else. But the technology of prayer is extremely... I kind of want to not forget the technology of prayer, how prayer is like a technology. Because prayer to me, I spent 38 years getting like I was going to pass out, faint, go fall asleep, and take a nap from boredom of hearing the word prayer. Like, that's how controlled I was with that word being like a trigger word. So I'll read the other things. By the way, Shia, your DNA was stolen. It was a violent crime. God's going to fix it. Lumerians are going to fix it. And they're going to fix it because it wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to happen, Shia. And this future investigation is going to be breaking a lot of spells, and there's going to be a lot of these false manipulating beliefs are all going to be removed, and it's the Lumerians' responsibility to help us, Shai, fix the situation. So you're extremely angry. I have the capability of blocking it out more now because I don't look at the news. I don't look at anything. However, I have to keep talking about it because I know that it's possible that you're still getting attacked from it. I'm going to talk about you real quick. And Shai, I always pick up the same page. I only have a couple minutes. I just want like a simple one to read, because some of these are like hard to explain. Shia, you're the excellence of angels. You've attained the excellence of angels, Shia. You have spiritual powers, and your soul needs rest. You have divine power. You have a strong connection with the divine nature, and you have very good manners. And your truth protects your soul, Shia. And you are my comforter. And Shia, you have faith. And the corruption that has happened to you is pure poison. It's going to stop. And you bring the light and light energy power, and you're very artful. And you're never offensive to me, Shia. And these enemies are pure evil that are going to have torture penalty and not exist in the future. And you are the angel of purity, Shia. You give me security. You have been lied to. Your health, peace, and perfection of character. You have a clear spiritual insight. And your soul has been polluted. You have immortality. And you have been violated. You're a light bearer, Shia. And you're my spirit guide, Shia. And you're a victim of vicious energies, Shia. So don't worry, Shia. Have a good day. Try to have a good day, Shia. And if you're getting tortured, try to do things to make it stop. And I'm going to probably try to read that book. And I'll talk about the food research tomorrow, Shia. And possibly some more about the end times. I love you, Shia. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much, Shia, for watching.